Comic Book Savant, episode 467. Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant podcast. I'm your host, James Harris. This episode, we're going to be doing another installment of Bargain Bin. It's a newer series that I've recently started on the podcast where I start talking about all the things that go into behind the scenes tips, tricks, and different resources I use to get the comics that I read and the books that I pick up for the show and stuff that I want to review and so forth. I figured that I would do it in this format that I would spotlight certain resources or particular tips. You guys responded to the first episode or two I've done of Bargain Bin, so I decided to continue on with the series, and I had an idea for this episode to spotlight discount comic book services as well as Instocktrades. They've been a long-time sponsor of the podcast as well as the YouTube channel as well. I've had a long-standing relationship with them over pretty much as long as the podcast has been going, and it's extended beyond into YouTube videos as well for the YouTube channel. But before I get into that, as always, I'd like to give a shout out to my friends over at the Comics Podcast Network. You can find them over at comicspodcast.com. It's a great resource if you want to find more comic book related content similar to the show here. There are literally hundreds of different podcasts listed there. So it's a great one-stop shop to explore and find more content to listen to. So it's definitely worth checking out. So if you have a moment, stop by the Comics Podcast Network over at comicspodcast.com. But again, this has been the whole kind of premise around the whole Bargain Bin episode. So I thought it would be great. And you guys it was funny. I was already working on putting this episode together. And then when the new year came, a lot of you guys, I made a post on what different things or topics you wanted me to cover, and quite a few of you spoke on DCBS or Instocktrades because you just were recently finding out about them, even though they've been around for a while. But if you're just getting into like podcasts and comics and looking at all alternate ways to buy comics, I know it was like a big thing for me, even before I started podcasting back in 2006. Gosh, seems like a long time ago now. Doesn't seem that long, but when I say it, it seems long. All I ever knew, I always kind of dabbled and experimented with online ordering. I'm a techie at heart, but primarily, when I started the show or leading into me starting the podcast in 2006, I had been primarily buying a good like 90 to 95% of my comics through local comic shops, in my area. I dabbled with like Midtown Comics. They had, they had online ordering, but it was kind of expensive. But for certain like variant covers or books that were hard to find, I would order through Midtown. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Also, Wizard Comic Magazine, they would have like special issues that you can mail away to get. So I dabbled with a few different like mail order online ordering companies leading into the time. I first heard about DCBS or Discount Comic Book Services by listening to some of the early comic book podcasts. I'm talking about early, like early as like 2002, 2003. You had Around Comics, you had Comic Geek Speak primarily, and that's when I first started hearing about Instocktrades and DCBS. So, of course, I checked them out. I started, I think I started with Instocktrades. I've placed, certain orders, and then it spilled over. I started slowly migrating over to Discount Comic Book Services. Now let me break down and explain the two. They're both owned by the same couple, Cameron. What is his wife's name? I'm totally missing it now. Either way, Cameron and his wife. basically, started these two companies. DCBS, most people don't know, actually started out as a brick and mortar shop that then they were doing brick and mortar. And then they were also experimenting with online ordering. It became bigger and bigger. And then they had Instocktrades, and they own other sites, comic related sites as well. And they've experimented with different things also over the time. But these are their two, like, I guess, which they're most known for. Instocktrades is basically a direct market for any type of collected edition. Basically, they even do manga, their traditional trade paperbacks, oversized hardcovers, omnibus, Marvel Masterworks, Absolute Editions, like anything that's a bound collected edition. Instocktrades is the one kind of stop shop that you would go to. And then you have Discount Comic Book Service, which is more like a traditional local comic shop, but via online. And they have their own kind of ordering process, which I'll get into in a minute. But let me talk about Instocktrades. You get discounts, they range from maybe as little as 25%, 20 to 25% off to 30, 42. And then they also have on their homepage, they have spotlighted deals, which are, their deals of the week, where they have like a 50% off deals listed on the homepage that I think they update every Tuesday. Which you can get some great savings, but they have a huge library, so much stuff that you can find at really good and reasonable prices. And if you place orders $50 or more and you're a U.S. based customer, you get free shipping within the U.S., but it's only for U.S. Based customers. And they'll have other deals too. They have banner ads running on their site that'll let you know about deals, not just on Instocktrades, but also through DCBS, which is their parent or sister company. So you can definitely double up and get extra savings there. And really till I switched over to digital, I did a lot of my ordering. Like I said, I started out with Instocktrades because as I was trying to, reaching out, branching out, and getting into collected editions, because really at the time back then, trades were, few and far between, like in the local comic shops, or far as trades, you had a limited variety. So like I fly to Instocktrades immediately. And as I was listening to podcasts and getting suggestions about stuff that I had never read in collected editions, it just made sense to, pick up the trades and getting them at a reduced rate. You could go through someone like Amazon, but they still were kind of pricey. So getting 25, 35, 40, 50% off, I jumped all over it. And I placed, literally have ordered hundreds of books through Instocktrades over the years. Now for me, I don't use either service anymore because I buy my comics digitally, pretty much totally exclusive now. Or if I do buy something in the realm that's a physical comic, I'm doing it specifically to do a giveaway to you guys. So I have like probably less than 20 to 25 physical comics in my home at this point. It's just like I've pretty much done away with it, but I can speak on the greatness of the service. The books are always packaged top notch. Some people, and I've seen more and more complaints about the shipping on, Instocktrades. Like it can take time because depending on how big your order is, it's become a massive business. So sometimes orders can take a little bit longer with Instocktrades, fulfilling the orders, because there's so many orders constantly coming in. Things can come out of stock. They're waiting to, for something to fulfill your order to get it out to you. So it definitely, I've heard complaints. I never really, me personally, when I use them, quite a bit, like, where I would, literally place multiple orders a month, or at least one order a month. I normally got my my stuff in a pretty timely, manner. Um, and again, I never had any complaints on it. And I think in all the years of using both Instocktrades and DCBS, I think I only had one thing ever come damage to me, and they let me keep the book and they replaced it with another book in my next order. And that's the only problem I could say out of quite a few orders, hundreds, probably thousands if you count the single issues of comics, of books and comics ordered through them. To only say I had one damaged book that they replaced and let me keep the damaged one, and it wasn't really like that damaged. I think a corner was nicked or something on it. It wasn't anything major, but it was still a problem. But they corrected that. They have great customer service. So it's definitely, if it's something that you're looking into making that transition, if you're looking to fill some gaps and get some trade paperbacks, I say test both services. Try Instocktrades and place an order. Like if you have, pick out, especially if you live in the U.S., place an order of $50 or more, get the free shipping, and see how you like it. Because it's easy to rack up a $50 bill on that site. If you pick up an omnibus, 50% off, you're going to spend more than the $50. So to get the free shipping is only a bonus. Now, DCBS or Discount Comic Book Services works a little bit differently because it's more like a traditional comic shop, but it's just online. Now, the price is going to vary, of course, based upon your individual order. Now, they have perks sprinkled throughout, depending, like if you get packages or get certain things. 50% discounts, 40% discounts, 35, 25 off, based on different publishers. If you now they did have this, but I think Comixology at one point did have a thing where they had, for bigger comic shops, they kind of had an affiliate kind of program, and they used to have a thing where if you merged your DCBS account with your Comixology account, you would get like 5% discounts on your DCBS orders on books you purchase on Comixology. That, I think, within the past year, Comixology did away with that. So that's a perk that maybe if you've watched my previous videos, like on YouTube about it, I might have mentioned that. That is something that's no longer a thing. It's no restrictions on what you on ordering at all, and you have multiple options for shipping. You have weekly shipping, bi-weekly, or monthly, which is the standard shipping options. As of our last check, the prices go from weekly shipments is an additional $23 a month on your on top of your order. Bi-weekly is $15, and monthly or standard is $7.50. Again, this is as I last researched all this in a couple of weeks ago when I was getting all the notes together for this, because I wanted to make sure I had the most current information. So it could be slight variations in this if things change in the new year. I'm not exactly sure, so don't hold me to it, but it's around this price range. You also have the option, and this is one thing I loved about DCBS, is that when you order your monthly books, you can actually go ahead and get them bagged and board, and you had different options. If you just want it regular bags and boards, it's about 12 cents per issue. If you want the MyLite plastics bags, they're a higher quality. They're 30 cents for the bags and boards, and you get a thicker boarding behind it. Or you can get the MyLite 2s, which is a more premium bag and board, and that's 50 cents per comic. Very reasonable, and you don't have to bag and board your own books. And it can be costly. I did the math when I was ordering from the month to month getting my books, and I start doing the math and even the time proposition, because at that point maybe I was ordering somewhere, a typical order for me was anywhere around 30 to 50 floppies a month, give or take. And then I was still on top of that throw another maybe 5 to 10 trade paperbacks or like hardcovers I would get a month. So I didn't have time to bag and board my books. So just wanted to already have them taken care of. So it was, and bags and boards can get expensive. You're talking about, if you do, I'm trying to remember how much bags normally, depending the quantity you could get. I think the smallest pack is like 100 or 200. And then boards to get it, you were spending another 30 to $60 just on the materials instead of just getting them. And then you have the weird, dilemma of running out of bags and boards, and then you got books and you got them sitting out and they can possibly be damaged. If you just go ahead and order them when you order the books, it's a minimal cost and it saves you so much time of not having to hassle, bagging and boarding your own books. So it's well worth the additional cost to it. Now, the thing about DCBS that is sometimes it's hard for some people to get adjusted to is that you order like a comic book retailer. You order directly, excuse me, out of the Diamond Distributor catalog. They have multiple ways you can order. You can go directly to DCBS discountcomicbookservice.com or dcbservice.com, and you can place the order via the website and place your whole order online, or you can do an Excel spreadsheet as well. And it's just really what you prefer. Most of the time for me, I used to just use the Excel spreadsheet to place my orders. But they made it more and more smoother and just as easy to do it online. So it's no drop off either place. And basically how it kind of falls into place is that you order similar to the retailer. So you order, like 2 months in advance. So as the actual solicitations in the Diamond book come, the Diamond or previews catalog is what I'm saying. As a previews catalog comes out, you would look at that and you would basically place your order just like a regular retailer would. So you would place your order 2 months in advance. You pay a month in advance, and then you would get the books the month that they were released from the solicitation. So it works a little different, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. But with the savings, you would get, you really can't beat the process. And that's why I would tell most people while they're kind of getting synced up with how they want to order on there, it's like you can, dip your toe using the service and say maybe buy, half your books. Like if it's books that you must read, week of that they're released, still buy those at your local comic shop. But if it's other books that, that are kind of fringe books for you or not definite must reads, then I would order them through like a service through DCBS. Like you can't lose with discounts. And they have other things like bundles that you can get. Like if you order, all of, like the DC books for a month, they'll give you 50% off the books, with the bundles and things like that. So they have a lot of deals. Like if you go, to their, to the website, dcbservice.com, you'll see like they'll have a banner scrolling at the top, breaking down like what new deals they have going on, on a particular book, or they will bundle. Okay, I'm just looking at the site right now as I'm recording. So they have, I guess for this previews catalog that's out right now, they have a Marvel bundle where you get basically every book that's coming out that month. The regular price for the books, you get like every book for February in the February catalog for $203.55. The retail amount of those books, the regular price is $408.05. So you're getting a straight up 50% discount, and I'm trying to see how many books that are included. 95 issues for $203. So it's crazy, like the amount of savings you can get. Now, I don't think I ever ordered that many books in a month, but I would have to go back and look at one of my old orders from years ago to see like how much I actually ordered in a month. I know I ordered quite a bit, but I don't know if I ever like did that many books in a month. But I don't know. I used to order quite a bit back in the day. Let me look at my order history to see in my heyday of ordering. I'm trying to find the biggest order I ever had in a month with them. Think, let's see. So in 1 month, it used to be up there. 100. Well, most people nowadays probably spend more than this. Excuse me. So I think the highest I ever spent in 1 month was 100, almost $200. Excuse me. And let's see, how many books did I get in that order? Oh boy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, like 30, 33. Excuse me. Excuse me. So like 33 books, had a omnibus in that order. See how many trade paperbacks, had an oversized hardcover, had a oversized trade paperback, and that's it. But so that was about, and that was the highest order that I had. But that was, I had a whole omnibus in there, and like I said, an oversized hardcover. So I had those were big, the bigger dollar purchases in there, and that was like the largest order. Most of the time, my orders I kept into that like $100 to $125 range, and I got a fairly good amount of books in that order, and that was like years ago because I haven't placed orders that big. Or like I said, I stopped buying digital comics like 5-6 years ago now. I think I transition of stop buying, physical comics. So you get a big bang for your buck. So you see those different bundles and different things that they offer. They really entice you, that can save you a ton of money off of, going to a traditional comic store, and the amount, now, I mean, books were, like $1.99, $2.99. Books now range from, on the low end, they're $2.99, $3.99, $4.99. We're seeing director's cut first issues with Marvel at $6.99, and if they have special anniversary editions, you can see as much as $9.99 for one issue. So it's kind of crazy. It can be kind of crazy in the amount of money you can spend. So it's always the one thing that I preach to you guys is find different ways to utilize and save as much money as possible. And this is one way you can save or moderate how you spend by dabbling with a service like this. And maybe you don't want to get a big bundle like that, but you just want to save on some minor books. And like I said, you can customize and configure your monthly ordering as much as you want through DCBS. It's nothing that's limited in the previews catalog that you see. Like, so if there's any statues, t-shirts, any kind of thing, if it's in the previews catalog, you can order it through DCBS, but you got to pay for it. That's the whole thing. Like, you place your order, then, you get billed the month later, then the month after that, you get your stuff shipped out when it's released. So you're ordering ahead. So you really got to budget and plan accordingly. And then you have to determine the add-ons. And like I spoke on earlier, you have bags and boards if you want them. That's additional cost per issue. The good thing about the spreadsheet and the website, as you add all those things on, you can see exactly how much it's going to cost you, so you know when you're gonna be billed. So like a perfect example of when I was looking at one of the random order sheets. So say like in a particular month. So as I'm recording this, it is the end of February. So like say if you order is placed by the 25th or towards the end of the particular month you're in, you place your order by around the 25th of the month. You're then billed for that order around the middle of the following month. Then you would get those books the month after. So you would always have to keep those things in mind when you're ordering, and things can be subject to change as well because you're ordering like a retailer, and this is what retailers have to go through comic shops, and they kind of have to guesstimate what they have to order. What DCBS does and why they can offer such a great discount is that you're ordering similar to how they're going to order, so you're locked in because you're ordering and paying in advance for books you're going to get in the future, just like retailers do. Now, books can be canceled, switched, and stuff like that. DCBS is awesome about if a book is canceled or rescheduled, they will credit your account back quickly once they're alerted that a book has been canceled or anything like that, or it's back ordered. They are great about emailing you, letting you know about changes to the shipping schedule from the publisher, because it's not due to you or them, it's normally publisher changes, and they're great about handling that kind of stuff. And like I said, and you'll see, like, and I was just going back looking through previous orders where books got sold out, they did a second printing, and they'll ask you, hey, do you want the second printing, things like that. All of that stuff they keep you informed of, which is great as well. Again, I use both services for about a good 10 years, never had any problems with them whatsoever. They keep their sites updated. They offer great discounts and services. If you're looking to, like I said, if you don't have a local comic shop around you, something like DCBS is a great alternative because the books can be shipped right to your doorstep. Again, you have the options for bags and boards or coming pre-bagged and board. Then you also have the shipping options if you want to get your books weekly. In my heyday, I got books shipped weekly because I had a good number of books where I would, was getting in any given week, 10 plus books. So the extra, money per month to get the weekly shipping didn't bother me because I wanted my books. And I think books would come out on Wednesday. I think when I was doing weekly shipping, most cases I had the books Friday. When I would come home from work on Friday, they were at my front doorstep, which I loved. Bi-weekly, you could do that. So then you even have a bigger stack, or you can always do the monthly standard shipping. We just get one big box with everything in it. For some people, they got to have their comics right away. So that could be a hard wait, because then if you're getting the books at the end of the month, you would have to wait till all the books come out that month, and then you get one big shipment. Some people, if you have so many comics to read, people like that, and they like having that big like Christmas day moment once a month where they get one big huge box. But it can be unwieldy, especially when you got hardcovers, omnibuses. I didn't care for that, so most of the time in the 10-year period that I use both, will use DCBS specifically, I primarily did either bi-weekly or weekly. I never could wait a whole month to get just one box, unless towards the end when I was winding down, I didn't really care. So I think that was the only time for that brief period. But when I was like ordering, most of my comics through them, it was bi-weekly or weekly, which is, I feel like, is worth the money for sure. What else can I say? Instocktrades, again, it's a little bit different. If you're more just into, and I know we've talked about this online via the Facebook group. Shout out to the Savant Society, facebook.com/groups/the Savant Society, all one word. If you haven't joined, why haven't you? Come join the fam. We talked about this, and more I see a lot of people are running out of space and converting over to online ordering and or going digital. So this is one way, and we more and more we're getting more and more new comic fans or just new to the hobby or didn't know about like online ordering and online retailers. So that's why I felt like it was doubly important to do an episode like this to kind of explain. And I hope I did a good job. I kind of was all over the place trying to make sure I touched on every aspect of both. But they're both, even though they're owned by the company, that's owned by the same family, they're two totally different services. If you're more casual and you're one of the you like to wait for the trade, you like omnibuses to have on your shelf and hardcovers and collected editions, then I'm going to say Instocktrades is your option. Now, if you're that weekly comic reader collector, then DCBS or Discount Comic Book Services would be the better option for you. You can still, as you know, hardcovers, omnibuses, and stuff come out, you can still order those through DCBS in your month-to-month ordering. Or if it's something that's already released or something that you're looking at has been out, no longer being, not current, you can then go to Instocktrades and pick up any of those that you need from there. You can't get individual issues from there. Those are for collected editions. So definitely keep that in mind as well. So they serve two different functions. Both can save you a ton of money. Both have, to me, have their plus and minuses, but to me, more pluses plus than minuses. Again, outside of waiting for your books, waiting for them to get shipped, things like that. I don't know if DCBS does international shipping. I know Instocktrades does, but again, with customs and things like that, you can definitely run into even more delays because once you're shipping things internationally, again, you got to clear customs. And that could take even longer, and shipping is very expensive. I know this firsthand from when I ran my eBay store and I sold comics worldwide. And I'm going to tell you, it is really expensive when you ship, being based here in America, shipping, I shipped books to Afghanistan, to soldiers. I've shipped books to Australia. I'm trying to see, I shipped stuff to Japan. It can get quite costly. So then that's one drawback if you're not, because this is a U.S. based company. If you're ordering anywhere outside of the U.S., then your shipping times will vary and they're going to be expensive. But if you're based here in the U.S. and you're looking at either one of these two options, they're a great resource to definitely check out and try out. I used to have like affiliate codes for percentage off your first order. I checked on that and I told you guys I would. They stopped doing that some years ago. So don't have that as an option, but you just save money anyway. Just let them know if they ask where you heard about them. Let them know you heard about them here at Comic Book Savant. And that's all I really have for you guys for this episode. Like I said, I wanted to go over and kind of discuss some of these, again, owned by a great family, great customer service, and just great service. Like I said, I wouldn't have been affiliated with them for this long if I did not believe and had used their service and a huge fan of it. So definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. And let's have a discussion. Let me know if you've used either Instocktrades or DCBS. Let me know. You can hit me up on social media at Comic Book Savant on Instagram or on Twitter, or you can just email me directly at Comic Book Savant. It's comicbooksavant@gmail.com, and let me know about your experiences, or if you have any other questions as well. I can follow them up in a future episode of Bargain Bin. But I hope this has been helpful. As always, I'm your host, James Harris. This is the Comic Book Savant, and you guys take care and be safe. Talk to you soon.